As someone whose browser dating history is a storied and complicated past filled with love and heartbreak and even some experimentation in college, I want to make sure Arc browser gets a fair shot. And before you think dating or relationship parallels are ridiculous for a browser, it's worth looking at the data. Think about this. Combined, many of us spend more time with Chrome or Safari than any other app. We spend more time with browsers than we spend with friends and family. Last week, if you're in tech, do the math, you may have spent more time in a browser than you spent sleeping. I know I did. So to decide whether Arc browser, I've never tried it before, and literally everyone is talking about it. So to see if it's a good match, we'll go through 6 criteria. Call it our browser first date checklist, with number 6 being a wildcard. 1, of course, is first impressions, but the other 4 mirror how I use my browser today. I use Chrome. This is critical. Search and browsing. Now, everyone's asking the same question. How come you misspelled browsing? What's more important is there are 2 patterns here, direct and indirect. Direct search is like using Google or Yelp to find a thing, but indirect search is like using Google to search Wikipedia. Same thing with browsing. I often go directly to a site or an app like Google Docs or X, but I also indirectly browse. I open links in new tabs, and I essentially create a reading list. For the wildcard, we'll see what's different about Arc browser, anything that might change for me, a mystery section. Now, the stakes are really high. By the end of this, I'm gonna decide whether I give Arc browser a full week as my exclusive browser. None of this will be scripted. No one has asked me to do this. These are my first moments with the browser built by a company named The Browser Company. Let's jump right in. I have not done this. I did not test this beforehand, so you're doing this with me for the first time. We'll go into applications. We'll open Arc. Am I sure? Yes, I'm sure. Open. Okay, that's pretty nice. If the opening animation is any indication, I'm gonna like this. It reminds me of macOS, I think it was macOS 10 Leopard, I think it was 10.5. Oh, this is great. Choose the apps you want to use most. Let's do all of these. No, I use native for a lot of this stuff. All right, so we'll do these 4 right here. Next, add some flair with a theme. No, thank you, skip. No more ads or trackers. No, I was looking for new socks. Next, move faster with AI. No, not right now. It says, go steady with Arc. On a first date? No. Next, welcome to Arc, McGuire Brannon, Nimble Artisan. It's actually really great. I love this card effect. Okay, get started. Let's settle in here with the basics. Okay, so first use, first impressions. So first impression, honestly, is there's a lot going on. And I get there's Arc basics over here. There's also these basics right here, and I see this is a visual for that. There's a new Arc icon unlocked. This is more complicated than I'm used to, so that's my first honest impression. Pin tabs, so I can drag these up, that's fine. Spaces for work and life. I wonder if these are like profiles. Multitask with split view. Start by browsing in a new tab. Okay, you know what? Enough of first impressions. Let's move on to direct search. So, what's the first thing I want to search? Chipotle nutrition facts. Okay. Okay, I like the responsiveness. What is Google Apps at the bottom? Why is that there? I go here and do the same thing, which is, this keeps going. So I have infinite scroll on Google, which I'm used to. If I go to Arc, it looks like I don't. So how do I go to page 2 of my search results? Maybe it's the search. Let me try something else. Let me type Claude latest model. Stay signed out. Okay, so now it's searching. That's interesting. So the behavior right there was different. What did I do differently? So if I go in here and I type, does stainless steel really neutralize garlic? Well, the infinite scroll works now. It still says Google Apps at the bottom, but it seems to work. I don't know if that was a bug. If I go back, Chipotle nutrition facts, now it's working fine. And oddly enough, if we take a look at this question about stainless steel, it does look like, at least according to Quora here, that the sulfur compounds bind to the steel, removing the odor from your fingers. Little known fact. All right, let's open a new tab. Oh, this is cool. So search or enter URL. I do like this. I don't know, it's just the interface of the fact that the thing is centered, as opposed to, it reminds me of opening up Siri or a lot of apps like quick find type apps, which is fantastic. So movie theaters in Manhattan. So the reason I've chosen maps is I want to see what the interface is in Arc browser compared to Chrome. Now, one of the things I'm noticing, especially since there's a lot of interfaces that have sidebars like this, is that I'm really losing a ton of real estate by having this to the left side. I'm usually pretty immersed in the experience, so if I just, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's pretty cool. That solved the problem instantly. I actually like this. This is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. The question is, when I want to open something else, how do I switch between my tabs? Oh, that's pretty. Okay, that's pretty great. Keeping tabs. Oh, this is... Okay, Arc browser, you're growing on me. I did not like the loading the first time use interface at the beginning. It was too busy, and I don't know what happened with the bug or something. It could have just been Google, but you're growing on me. This is pretty nice. So direct search, except for that little snafu at the beginning, I would say I give full points to direct search. It's exactly what I'd expect and what I'm used to in Google Chrome. So if that's direct search, let's move into indirect search. This shouldn't be very different. This is just being able to use something like Google to search Wikipedia. So if I type garlic wiki, boom, that works fine. Let's do a Boolean search. Let's see if I can do site:google. Well, let's do reddit.com. We'll do curb season 12 discussion. Whoa, okay, I don't know what that is, but that's remarkable. What is happening here? I don't know what's happening, but that is one of the most impressive things I've seen. This is growing on me. Let's move on to the next topic, which of course is direct browsing. New tab. One thing I like about this is when I hit Command T to open up a new tab, I get this interface that I can already see is extremely helpful, but it's not just a tab switcher. It's, I guess, what I expect in the address bar dropdown, but just the idea of how it's centered is so beautiful and symmetrical, and I just absolutely love this. So I'm going to go to, let's see, Netflix. This is exactly what I'd expect. Now, I love the way the content takes the front seat. And by that, I mean it's so immersive. Now, I hid that sidebar earlier, so I don't have that by default. But I'm so used to, in Google, having that top address bar, and I don't trigger it on or off or enter full screen or not. Just the idea that this can be my default browser and there's not a lot of wasted real estate around the corners, it really is an elegant way to look at content like this. Let's try Webflow. This is my kind of test account, so we're just going to open it up and we'll see how Webflow reacts. All right, so right away, let's go in, we'll add a div block, let's make it 300 by 300 by 300. And we'll take this, set it to flex, center, yep, got it. Where were we? Div block. This is our div block. Let's just delete everything else. There's our div. Then let's add a color. And we'll go to, let's see, on the parent, on the body itself, we'll add a children perspective of 1000 pixels. And over here, let's go to interactions and we'll choose a page trigger. So when the mouse is moving in the viewport, we're going to play a custom mouse animation. The one we're creating is going to, on the left side, will rotate. So it will, when the mouse is to the left, we'll rotate that way. When the mouse is to the right, we'll rotate that way. We'll do the same thing up here, which is a rotation upwards when it's at the top. And when the mouse is at the bottom, we'll rotate downwards. Turn on live preview, and it functions exactly as I'd expect. It functions, but this is just a good example. Transforms are finicky, and just seeing this work so smoothly within the context of the Webflow interface is great. Let's save. That's actually a pretty good look. Before I add anything else, let's go into preview, and yeah, it works as expected. This is hardly comprehensive, hardly scientific, but it's an example of something that if I go through these motions and something is a little finicky or a little off, I would expect, especially when I'm working with transforms, for behavior that is less than ideal. Right here, it looks great. Edit theme. Oh, that's cool. Okay, yeah, that's that's beautiful. I think this is the most beautiful browser interface that I have seen for Webflow. This is actually very nice. This is really well done. The design is excellent. With that, let's move into our next category, which is, of course, opening tabs. It's indirect browsing. So let's go to something like Reddit. We'll go back to the curb example, and let's just open. I'm just holding down Command and clicking multiple tabs and seeing new tab created up here. I will say the toolbar or the navigation bar, what is it called, sidebar? The sidebar on the left is definitely growing on me. I generally would add to quickly swap between these things. I would either use keyboard shortcuts or I would use something like Better Touch Tools and just have a 3-finger swipe left or right. And I would have that specific to Arc Browser, which it's nice. I like that it just disappears. I like that quick access to it. This is actually very nice. So let's talk about the wildcard, because there's only one I found so far, and that of course is within the context of a Google search. The fact that it's summarizing somehow, I don't know if this is AI assisted or what's happening, I think that's nothing short of incredible. That's definitely the wild card for me. The ability to hover over and get a quick preview of a search result and not having to open those new tabs. Speaking of that previous category, I don't have to switch tabs and open a bunch of new tabs just to get a quick snippet, a quick preview of what's going on. Is it always going to be perfect? No. Some of these are just quick summaries taken from the top of the post, but that's very helpful. That alone is enough to get me interested in using this a little bit more. So what are my big takeaways? Well, I've only tried it for not very long at all. I'm thinking to myself right now, is it worth committing to use this exclusively for a full week? I will say that one completely unexpected thing is the immersiveness of the way this browser is designed. The ability to look at my content in a way that takes up the entire display or the entire window without having a lot of the baggage that I'm used to with Safari, which is more minimal, or Google Chrome, is that's very refreshing. So what's my takeaway? Will I use this as my browser for the next week? My takeaway is I'm tentative. I love parts of the design. At first, I'll be honest with you, the first experience for the first couple minutes, I didn't enjoy it. But like everything, I don't want to just judge a book by its cover, and that's what I feel like I'm even doing in this video a little bit. I've just not had a lot of time with it. Having said that, it's pretty cool. It needs to be more than just beautiful. It needs to be extremely effective. It needs to be good. It needs to help me be productive. I do want to play with this in terms of importing a lot of stuff from Google Chrome. I do want to play with this in the context of what happens when I have 50 tabs open and I'm doing a lot of work at once. But with that, yeah, I think I'm going to try it out. Yeah, that's my decision. For the next week, I'm going to use exclusively for my desktop, laptop browsers, I'm going to use Arc. I'm going to try it out. This is all I'm going to use for a week now, with the exception if there's something that doesn't work functionally that I absolutely need for work or for life, of course I'm going to switch back to Chrome, but I'm going to remove Chrome from my dock, and I'm going to replace it with Arc Browser for now, for the next week. I'm going to do the same thing on my Mac Studio, and this is going to be my default. Now, I have no idea if Arc has a mobile browser. Right now, I generally use Safari just because it's right there, but let's switch to Arc. Let's do it for a week. And I will report back. I may do it a little bit after a week from now, but I'm going to report on this. Here's my big ask for anyone who's watching this to this point in the video. What am I missing? I'm sure I'm missing a ton. I did not give that marketing site the time of day. I didn't give the first time use the time of day. And frankly, a lot of this is just first impressions, right? It's just using a browser how I'm used to using it. There are going to be a lot of things that I'm not used to yet. And whenever I'm trying a new tool, I often don't show this part of the process. I show the part of the process after I've learned that tool and I'm ready to go ahead and teach it. I'm excited about flipping that a little bit. I really am excited to hear from you. I want to know what your recommendations are. What should I be trying out with this? Or if you've tried Arc Browser and you liked it or you didn't like it, it was a fit or it wasn't a fit, I want to know from you, what was your experience like? If you haven't tried it, try it out. I would say just based on this is worth, if you're in tech and you're a knowledge worker, this is worth exploring. And I will say I'm excited about it both personally and professionally. Again, I use profiles in Google Chrome right now. I'm excited to see how this can keep the work and the personal life a little separated. And there's a lot of stuff I just don't know yet that I'm excited to explore. This is the first time I've tried a new browser in a really long time. And I have to say, I'm excited. So with that, I'm gonna sign off and say thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to hear from you about Arc browser, or Arc, if we're on a single 3-letter name basis. Speaking of names, it's McGuire Brannon.